And I don't think I have to introduce the two gentlemen on either side of me or the trooper next to us. Many people have been asking me across the state of Pennsylvania what's going on up here, and they've been getting your reports. First off, I want everybody to know we're not going to rest. The colonel and the rest of the state police and all the federal law enforcement agencies and other state agencies that are here, and it's not just state law enforcement agencies that are involved, but our people here in Pennsylvania, all different agencies are involved, including the Game Commission is out there. Nobody's going to stop until we find this individual and he's apprehended. State police, FBI, ATF, Marshal Service, state police from New Jersey, New York, Connecticut have been involved in this. Border Patrol, I just saw some Border Patrol agents back in the cafeteria. Everybody has one mission, and that one mission is to apprehend this individual. We have our troopers coming in from all across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and it is everybody's goal, mission, and determination to keep their focus on this individual and to find him. We have received countless letters and cards of support. What you see behind me, take a look at it. Take a look at them. Read them. These are children talking about this. I just was given a pack of crackers to look at with a note to Daddy on it from a child. Her daddy, we assume, is a state police officer out in the field, telling him to be safe, but to catch the bad guy. And that's exactly what's going to happen. It is a community, it is a commonwealth, and it is a nation coming together over somebody who would assassinate a police officer, a state police officer in this case, and who's out there in those woods that he knows very, very well, trying to avoid capture. That's not going to happen. We've received those letters of support, cards of support, and I know we will continue to do it. Residents all across northeastern Pennsylvania have come together to support our police in ways that we never could have imagined, and the state police are thankful for that. We all are. The local restaurants continue to provide fantastic home-cooked meals, and I thank them for their support and their continuing support, and thank them for their patience and understanding as to what goes into this. And I know it might be hurting their bottom line, and we really do appreciate what they're doing. I particularly want to thank Barrett Township Fire Department and the Red Cross for providing meals. But more than meals, support, conversation, and a welcome break for our troopers and for everybody involved. Their support has been an inspiration to all of law enforcement. I want to thank the residents also of all the communities that have been impacted by the search for Eric Frein. I know that this has been trying on everybody, but I want to assure them the law enforcement is doing everything we can to bring this to a close as quickly as we possibly can. I want to applaud the law enforcement effort of the entire community, many of which have traveled from other communities in Pennsylvania to help out here. I know that they are away from their families, and for safety reasons, this region has become a focus of everybody's attention. And I want to thank them for their ongoing commitment to help a portion of their state that they may not reside in, but it is our Commonwealth. As I said, we will not rest until we apprehend this individual, and we will continue to do that. I do want to thank everybody again for doing this. I've received a pretty full briefing here in the last half hour or so. Had a chance to tour the facility. Got an update that you are now going to get that update. So I think I turn it over to you next, Colonel. Thank you.
Thank you all. It's a pleasure to have an opportunity to be here with the Governor and Lieutenant Colonel Bivens to represent the Pennsylvania State Police and all the law enforcement agencies that are out there working on this. Number one, I'd like to thank all the law enforcement agencies throughout Pennsylvania and throughout the surrounding states and our federal brothers that are working here, but even more than that, the volunteers. When you think of how dangerous a job this is to going into a woods after a sniper that has also been practicing, and you know he's had possession of explosive devices with tripwires, and yet my biggest job is telling people we don't need any more, we'll use you later. We have an awful lot of people up here that are very, very dedicated. But my second point would be is it's going on a long time, and I know it's wearing on all of the community and the people. Believe me, it wears on us too, and the men and women that I have out in those woods searching for this criminal. What makes it much more tolerable, though, and actually inspiring, is the support we get from this community and from across the state. When my troopers or myself or Colonel Bivens, we stop to get gas, there's people honking and waving at us, telling us, go get them. If we go into a restaurant, everybody comes over. And I don't mean just in Pike or Monroe County, over in Lackawanna or Luzerne, where I've been. And that's just been, it's just given us all a sense that we're all in this together. It's all of our problems, and we're all going to solve it. And it means a great deal to all of the men and women in the Pennsylvania State Police. Also means a great deal to the families of the trooper that was killed and also the trooper that was seriously injured. And with that, I'll turn it over to Colonel Bivens. It'll give you an update on where we are.
Thank you, Colonel. Good afternoon. In the way of an update, as I've indicated right from the beginning, our search area remains very fluid and is based on the information we have available to us at any given time. Currently, based on the information developed over the past several days, our search area is now focused slightly south and in the Swiftwater area in Paradise and Pocono townships. For the past week, we had had no additional sightings of Frien in the Canadensis area. However, one possible sighting was reported slightly south of our current search area early this past week. Just this past night, overnight, we had a sighting for which we are assigning a high level of credibility. It was reported in the area of the Pocono Mountain East High School. The individual's description was consistent with Frien, and he was observed carrying a rifle. The individual's face was covered with mud, and so a positive identification could not be made. A search of that area is ongoing as we speak. We know that Frien is familiar with this area as he attended Pocono Mountain East High School. He also worked briefly at Sanofi Pasteur and also worked on several summers, or worked several summers rather, at Camp Mincy, which is just to the west of that area. As you are also aware, on Thursday, homeowners at two locations in the Cresco area reported finding blood at their residences on enclosed back porches. We're still doing some testing. There have been samples that have been collected. Lab analysis is underway to determine whether it is related to this investigation or not. We expect to have those results later tonight or early tomorrow. At this time, we are also asking residents to continue to be vigilant, and I'll remind them of the tip line number of 866-326-7256, or simply call 911 if they see anything suspicious. And I believe if it's okay with you, Governor, we'll open it up to questions.
Answer questions.
There's been really no talk of motive since this whole thing started. I was wondering if you could expand on that a little bit.
Well, that's been all part of the ongoing investigation, and so in deference to the potential prosecution, we have not really discussed motive other than we know that he has had a dislike of law enforcement for a very extended period of time, and that he's talked to people about that, and we've found documents that support that. But beyond that, we're really not theorizing at this point on any other motive.
Trooper Alex Douglas, he's been released from the hospital. Has he made any comments? Have you talked to him since he's been released?
I have spoken with him, but I would characterize those conversations as private. He is in good spirits and is doing well, and we certainly wish the best for him in this long road to recovery.
Just clarifying, you found blood in enclosed porches in two different homes?
We found what was reported as blood. We have testing to confirm that it is blood on at least one of those locations. I'm waiting for the testing on another, and beyond that, we'll do further testing to determine whether or not it's related to this investigation.
Do we know if he's injured?
Again, we'll have a better idea once we get the results of this testing.
Speaking about that, I guess in one of the sightings it was reported that the person that was seen with him, do we know of many?
Okay.
Sorry about that. Just in one of the sightings, I guess somebody reported that the suspect was seen limping. Do we have any confirmation of that or anything of this sort?
No, at this point, we would be speculating about any other injury, so, we're really just going on the assumption he is still mobile and capable of making his way through the woods.
How many miles is that from where he had been to the latest sighting?
From some of the other items that we had found, I would say 5 or 6 miles roughly, so it's not a tremendous area, certainly doable for an individual like him.
And when was he seen?
Last night was the most recent sighting.
About what time?
A little after 9 o'clock last evening.
And are you still searching in Canadensis, or is that done? You've moved?
No, we're still searching. Again, we don't put all of our resources at just one location. As I've said all along, we were searching. We had a primary search area, but we've always searched much further out, and even into other states, depending on the tips or the information that we had. But our concern is that he is able to move, and so we wouldn't want to just focus on one particular area and risk missing him elsewhere.
Do you moved him over that way?
I think that we've kept a tremendous amount of pressure on him, and I think that likely had some bearing on where he's at now, if assuming that it is him.
Wait a second, let the lady in the back here, she's been trying, you haven't seen it.
Yes, ma'am.
Suzanne Goldcrank from WNEP. At the last news conference, you mentioned some additional items had been found. Can you tell us what they were or where they were found? And has a trail of evidence also moved south? And has there been another campsite found?
We do not have another confirmed campsite. There were some items found. There is still testing pending on some of those items, so I cannot confirm at this point that they're related to him. As you can imagine, when you move through a large forested area, in some cases you'll find items that have been discarded by other people, and so we process those scenes, we take that evidence in and get it to the lab, and so in many cases we're still waiting for some results.
How do you determine which tips are credible? Then are you getting more tips or less tips, or has it been steady?
Well, there are a number of factors that go into whether a tip is credible. First of all, we have investigators that go out to interview people on a daily basis, and they can assess credibility of an individual based on what they're telling us. Could they have seen what they're telling us? And so is it even believable? We also look at the other information that we have available to us at that point in time and put that together with whatever an individual is telling us to determine whether it's possible that this could be a sighting. In this particular case, this was a very close-up sighting. The individual that reported it had great detail, and so our investigators believe that this was likely Frien.
How close would you say?
15 to 20 feet.
This was yesterday night?
Yes.
This was a civilian?
Yes.
Civilians.
And was there a threat involved with that? Or?
No. No. There was a surprise encounter. It was after dark, and
Can you describe it further?
there was a lady that was out for a walk and was walking past a wood line and encountered him just off the road, encountered this individual just off the road near the wood line.
What road was it?
It's in the area of the school down there, but I'm not going to give additional detail.
Was he on the campus of the school?
No, he was not on the campus of the school.
Near the school?
It was in the vicinity there.
Are you going to advocate that the school is closed?
We've been in discussions with the school. We're not making a recommendation one way or the other. We will ensure that they have all of the information they need. Certainly, we have a strong police presence in that area, though, and so, I think that we have the resources there to deal with anything that could occur in that area. Yes, ma'am.
Earlier today, we saw some officers along 611. As this search might move into more populated areas with more traffic, how are you instructing officers to deal with perimeters and pedestrians and everything that's going on around with them differently?
Well, throughout this investigation and manhunt, we've attempted to be as least intrusive in the community as we can be. If we need to shut down a road, though, we will shut down a road. We'll try and find alternates to get people around. We've not had to do that by and large so far in this particular search, but we ultimately reserve the right and the ability to do that if absolutely necessary.
Did you order a lockdown last night or the search?
No, we have not ordered any lockdowns.
Has Trooper Douglas been able to tell you anything helpful or heartless in the investigation?
He has been interviewed. Investigators have talked to him at length, and again, that's all part of the ongoing investigation and not something I'm prepared to discuss here today, though.
Halloween naturally has been canceled here. What alternatives has the community? Any resources, anything that you can add or perhaps tell anyone?
Oh, no, go ahead.
Well,
It's a big holiday.
yes, it's a big holiday, and I love Halloween too, and, but some of the communities have stepped up and trunk or treat, I think is the thing that we've been talking to and trying to help them in any way, and that sounds like something that the communities are doing, and, hopefully we'll have them before then, but if not, I certainly understand why they have canceled it and wouldn't want to be taken, but this sounds like a very viable alternative, and I hope it'll be a great success.
Best alternative is we find it before Halloween.
Yes. Yes.
Going forward in the surge, the winter weather is going to start to kick in. Do you hope that that's really going to be what works in your favor?
We do. Obviously, the worse the weather is for him, the better it is for us. We believe that as the leaves come off the trees, technology kicks in quite a bit more, aircraft become much more effective, and we'll be able to make use of some of the assets that we have on site here, and hopefully get this search over with.
Do you all have any sense of how he dealt with the big rain this past week?
No, I'd be speculating as to how he did it. I've said all along that I do believe he is likely getting into cabins or abandoned homes and getting food and or shelter in that manner.
Last question then, folks.
Have you been able to refine your estimate of the cost anymore? Do you have any more detail on that?
We're still calculating that. As I've said, I previously indicated that it is several $1 million. We're still, I know the figure of 10 million has been put out there. We're still well under that $10 million figure, though.
Thank you all.
Okay, thank you.